session action. I didn't wake up too long ago. It's it's 6:30 over here, but I've been playing since like 6. I'm just playing for like an hour before work. On the left, I open low jack and big blind defends. 8-6-5 rainbow. I do want to have. I'm gonna check this one back, but I realize like from the low jack, you end up having to bluff hands that like seem like they have more showdown than they do. Otherwise, you you end up bluffing with a little bit too much equity. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and raise. And the reason being is like I expect a lot of very strong hands to go to the check on this river. Instead of like quick bet for like a normal size. You do have to be a bit careful though. Reason being is like king jack offsuit, like might be really overdoing it with the raise. This is a defend. Just not trying to give away any timing tells here. You could bet small or larger, or like use like a 3/4 or a quarter pot size. I think I do like this hand in the small size and block a lot of floats. And then on the 8 of hearts, I would expect a lot of fold after barreling, and then the continuing range. Usually a bit stronger than it should be. I think players are doing a bit of overfolding on the flop. Is my hand worth the value? But after a quick check, I mean, does he have hands like, yeah, I'm gonna bet this. I'm just ahead of some hands here, like some value hands. This is ace jack, so I get called by ace jack. I mean, maybe, yeah. I was thinking a little bit too hard. I'm still groggy, like tired from waking up not too long ago. But yeah, so definitely questioning myself a little bit. That's maybe a misclick. Yeah, this seems like a misclick to me. I'm gonna raise. I'm gonna call 4-bet here, 3-bet. I could go smaller. I just prefer to choose like a size where it's like, okay, I get called. I'm at an SPR I'm comfortable with. 7-3 deuce monotone. You can do some betting on these boards, small blind versus button. Ace 5 hearts. I think I would like to do some betting actually with this exact combo, because I unblock like they're supposed to call like king queen, king jack sometimes. They have like ace jack and ace queen offsuit. So they have a lot of like single heart hands that can float, as well as pocket pairs that have a heart that have an easy call. There are certain boards that are like extremely connected. Monotone boards, like you range check pretty much as the out of position player. But I don't think that was one of them. I have to check. I don't know how bad could it be to bet the nut flush there. Yeah, you guys let me know. I never spend that much time studying monotone boards just because like the proportion of monotone boards that you end up playing compared to every other board is so low. It's like it only makes up around 5% of, you know, all like strategically unique flops, right? Or like or like tech board textures. So yeah, I don't think there's like a ton of, like, obviously you should study them because you're gonna end up playing monotone boards, but I've never seen it like, it's like, why wouldn't you prioritize boards that you're gonna run into more often? And spots you're gonna run into more often. That's usually how I like design my study sessions, is like I'll choose the most frequented spots that I play. So BvB is like one of them. I spend a lot of time studying BvB. Still have a tough time in certain scenarios BvB just because it's it's not an easy game. But yesterday, for instance, I was like this whole week I'm basically just running drills on GTOW. And the first drill I ran was blind versus blind, single raise pots, flop position. So I'll play as out of position for like 30 hands and then in position for 30 hands. And you know, I get a sense of what hand classes want to do, more betting, less betting, betting for a larger size. Not that I do a lot of splitting. I just I'm just using the general solutions on GTOW, which play multiple sizes. In game, it makes a lot more sense for me to have a strategy that uses really one size. I guess if I wanted to, I could have like you could use the custom solutions and run drills that way. I've seen people do that. Yeah, I think this is a mix. I'm gonna fold versus player. This is a bit tight. And also I rolled pretty low, so I'll have to double check that. My brain is not working like super well right now. It's early morning grind. I have a fish here. I will open Jack Deuce suited. This is like I think a pip wider than you should. Especially, you know, at this stake, but ace 4-3, so they have the ability to donk. Doesn't mean I always want to check. I'm gonna bet this on a high roll. I have no reads on this player. I've never played with them before. They are Russian though. I don't know. I heard there's some Russians. They do some interesting things. Snap check the ace here. Yeah, I like barreling this hand again on blocking clubs. Flush draws have a tough time calling as well. I think you can use a large size. Cause you can sort of push. You could like push an advantage in ace X, like you're gonna have stronger ace X. And those hands are worth like a lot of money. I could be totally wrong there. I'm not, I was just trying to brain solve that spot pretty much. I'm not super familiar with every single turn. There are a lot of turns where like the strategy, you know, completely, like I'm completely lost. That's one thing I'm probably going to be looking at today, like when I'm running drills, would just be playing through the turn, BvB. That's what I'm doing like all week, is just running drills. And then like I pretty much just alternate weeks. So like one week I'll look at specific configuration, and I'll take the time to go through all board textures. So it'll usually go like ace high, then I'll have a day for king high. You have after that I'll look at jack and 10 high in the same day, and then you have 9 high and below, and I cluster all those together. And then paired and monotone. So paired and monotone are like this is a fish. I'm gonna open this, even though once again slightly too wide, blind versus blind, but versus like a little bit of a crazier player. I want to get in there. Yeah, so if you guys have your own study routines, whatever you do, let me know. If you have any recommendations for how you think people should study, let me know. I'll probably post like in the description, I guess, like what I'm studying that day. This is an indifferent, continue on a 37. I'm gonna fold, even though, yeah, I was maybe a little bit too committed to the actual pre-flop strategy that I play there. Might be good to call versus this guy always with that hand. So today you're gonna, just gonna run some drills, look at some turn spots, BvB, and then tomorrow, jump to button versus big blind single raise pots. This is a low frequency bet, and when you do bet, you want to use this 3/4 pot size. You're basically playing a 2-street game on a lot of these boards. Sevens is a pretty nice hand to bet. I think it's mainly because they're supposed to do a lot of 4-betting with 10s plus. Even 9s and 8s are doing some 4-betting. And when you get called here, I think you end up wanting to check. Here, I'll always put this to call. Yeah, I think it becomes a little bit too weak to put all the money in with. I have a gut shot, and I am beating some ace high that has to float, some ace x of spades, ace x of hearts. This small turn size seems okay. And then on the deuce, here I'm going to call, and here I'm going to check. He should, after that flop size, he should really be almost range checking this turn. Yeah, I'm facing an all in here. Folding here I gotta think. The issue is that, they might overfold flop versus B75, which makes it kind of challenging, but yeah, maybe I call sevens no heart. Sevens no heart. I'm sure this is, indifferent. It's just like, are they jamming 9s? And are they calling aces pre-flop? Like if they have those combos, it becomes maybe a little bit easier. They have some other value combos as well, like, let me think here. No, ace-3 folds. They could have something like, Yeah, I mean, I guess they do have 7/6 that's calling at a frequency. They have pairs that I think call too often, so they have fives and fours a little bit too often. They have one combo of deuces. It would just be very easy to overbluff if they were calling all this ace high stuff, but I think generally, oh shoot, yeah, I think generally like those hands might be more inclined to check back turn. Like say you have ace queen there, which is the one of the only like pure calls. You might be inclined to check back turn, right? And then it's like, are they wanting to bluff all their hard combos? I don't know. I don't know how this player's thinking. I'm gonna lean towards fold though. Prefer to unblock like a7 of a7 of hearts at the very least. Yeah, I just think the flop size is like this. That might have been a bit of a misplay. Here I'll use an 11 big blind size as a little bit of a shorter stack. It's like maybe my hand could even go with it on the turn. I do not know. I'll have to look that one up later. And even when you look at the solution for those spots, is like, is that really the best? Are those really the best decisions to make in game? Because you have to consider things like how often you expect your opponent to bluff after you check, or like you can kind of speculate about what size bet your opponent will use after you check. Stuff like that. It does make a difference. Like for instance, when I was studying a bit of BvB. Oh, with the cold collar, fuck. This is like this hand. Yeah, I'm gonna go all in. This is just a lot of dead money. I play James, like I'll play a mixed strategy here. Okay, we're flipping, so that's, it could be worse. Oh, let's hold. Nice. Been winning those lately. Yeah, I play a mixed strategy here, so like I play jams as well as 4 bets to like 26 big blinds. What I was saying about that sevens hand though, it's like on the turn, it was kind of like I just checked because that's what sort of felt natural, but I mean it's almost worth betting to continue denying equity from overcards that are having hard draws. This is a range bet for me. Yeah, if I had better reads on this player, like I would my decision would be a bit easier. Here facing half pot raise, I'm gonna call. Check here. Goes check, check, and then check again. I can consider raise. I don't think I like to raise too much in this spot. You know, my perceived range is like a little too air heavy. That's at least what I imagine. Oh, it's not topping up. Do I get some chips here? Oh, okay. Huh. It's a weird bug. It's not letting me top up. Yeah, one thing I noticed yesterday studying BvB was that if you have an idea of like what sizes your opponent's going to use when you check to them, it really impacts your strategy. This scenario I'm talking about was I was basically looking at custom solutions, blind versus blind, and on certain ace high boards, in position after out of position checks, in position supposed to have like really polar strategy, where they use essentially just large bets, and they don't do any small betting. If you were to lock their strategy to only use like smaller bets, it really impacts the out of position strategy. So the out of position strategy in those scenarios that I'm talking about here, we're going to go 12. Oh, okay, or I'm going to misclick. Hopefully, I was hoping that like sort of induced something, but looks like it wasn't. Yeah, I think they have to call so wide versus my bet that it's like worth betting this hand. They have to call pretty much everything that they open on the button. How do you navigate in a misclick pot? I don't know. Yeah, I think my hand's worth another. Actually, it might be better to delay betting till the river. I think it's likely to play the turn a little bit more face up, and then on the river I can bet. I get called by Jack X, even likely some 7X, and I just use this normal size. Maybe it's too thin, I don't know. It's a pip wider than I should open. Okay. Yeah, so like say like ace queen low, for instance, out of position in this scenario has over bets, but they also have like smaller bets that they can use as well, so they can split sizes. The smaller bets are like built around some of the more marginal hands that would like to put money in, but if you're playing a single size strategy, just over bet or check, you can't really bet with them. So another benefit to having those smaller bets is like, when you play over bet or check and you check and your opponent over bets, a lot of those hands that a lot of hands that have a decent amount of equity are now sort of denied that equity, especially because you're out of position. You have to do a lot of folding with them. So the benefit to having that smaller size, you can put them into the smaller size, and it prevents your opponent from making them fold with like some larger bet after check. So when they stab for some larger size. That's probably like an incoherent explanation of it, but basically you can use these smaller bets to pacify your opponent. Even in theory, this is like happening in like a way, right? Where you're like stopping your opponent from betting 125% of the pot, because you might have a hand like second pair that doesn't want to face that size, that really doesn't want to face a bet like that. So you do have to be careful though, because threes is like close to a pure fold. Even versus like a big blind less than I studied against. Yeah, okay, I'm done talking about that because it's like pretty much incoherent at this point. Oh wow, so been playing for a while now. I think I'm gonna sit out. Maybe I go for another couple minutes. I'll go for a few more hands here, and we'll see. Using half pot size, I cannot defend. Someone told me that this guy's a bot. I don't know who else plays on this site, but y'all will have to let me know if that's verifiable. He is a Russian, and I was reading that they have a big Russian bot ring on ACR that plays at like these ring games. They'll play tournaments as well. My question is like, well, I guess no, it kind of makes sense to have bots at 100 and 200 because the pools are much bigger than they would be at like higher stakes. So at higher stakes, they'll get called out much quicker. Yeah, I think, this guy might be a bot. It might be a good time to call the session, honestly. I got some interesting hands in there. I'll make a video maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. A bit more of a chill video. Maybe just talking about some stuff that's unrelated to poker, just for fun. This hand can mix on a board like this, but really high check frequency. Maybe it's best to always check back. Here I think my hand is worth like one bet. It's just like, is it better to get that bet in on the turn or the river? It makes sense to delay to the river, because I think my opponent's going to be playing extremely face up. I'm going to use a half pot size because I think this range is a little bit weaker after this snap checking on the turn, snap checking the river. So they fold anyway. Which is perfect timing because the video is probably looking a little choppy at this point. So sign off these tables. Thanks for tuning in again. Tomorrow I'll probably make another one, or tonight I'll make another one of these, and I'll try and talk about some other stuff. I've been wanting to like talk about music or something, or just like stuff that I do for fun unrelated to poker, and like maybe that will farm some engagement from you guys, and you guys can tell me what music you like to grind to or just listen to in general. Anyway, I hope you all have a good day, grinding or going to work like me. So thanks.